Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this stream of Europa Universalis 4, where, having already gone through the Commonwealth game, we are switching to MEIOU and Taxes. In the last session, we primarily worked on fixing our economy. We declared a war on Castile, which was hilarious in how swiftly and thoroughly we defeated them. England was at war with them first, trying to take some of the territories here, but their initial invasion was completely thwarted. Then we declared war, invaded through Aragon, despite the fact that this was during one of the really bad winter things, so there was +10 attrition throughout the Castellan territories. But we took it slowly, we let the minions take most of the brunt of the attrition damage, and sieged a whole bunch of them down. Got a bunch of money from the peace deal at the end. I think it was like 400 ducats from the peace, and then another 600 I think it was from loot that we'd taken. So we had the unrestricted looting option selected when we were choosing that. So our economy is really doing quite well. We also looked at trade. We've shifted our main trade port to the coast, although we still don't have a very good control over it. So we switched it back again. No, sorry, the trade port is still here, but we switched our collection. We're now collecting from both regions, which is making us far less efficient, but it is actually making us more cash in the long term. We have set up our trading post here in Pays de Nuit, and we are trying to encourage this place to become a centre of trade, though it does not look like it's done that yet. But it produces salt, it has the Loire estuary, it has a marketplace already, and a commune hall. So it should be building up. It should definitely be building up. And in fact, I just want to take a quick look here. It's got an urban population of 11,000, urban gravity of 17, so the city itself should grow quite significantly. And if I was able to give this province to the Burghers, I would do so that they could encourage a little bit more economic growth there. But yeah, we're investing pretty heavily on getting trade shifted over that way. We have also built a trade fleet who are protecting trade. Currently, yes they are. But they only generate like 14 points of trade power, so it's not a huge amount. In fact, we suffer a huge amount of trade power penalty. So I think we really would be better protecting trade in the West Mediterranean. You know what? I think I'm going to switch you to doing that. Push more trade into Paris, so that we're not suffering that minus 52% penalty there anymore. Our armies have been staying pretty quiet. We have been drilling pretty consistently. We're trying to get their drill up. We're trying to get our professionalism up again, because it did go all the way down to 0. And we have added some infantry now. So this is a fully rounded army. The only thing we're lacking is artillery, but that's because they are really expensive. Although actually the maintenance isn't as much as usual. Is that true? No, I think actually, yeah, the maintenance of all units is more. I think men-at-arms are usually 0.1 a month, cavalry are usually 0.5, then artillery are about that. Actually, the artillery haven't changed much, so infantry are way more expensive than usual. Oh, that's interesting. We have actually got some rebels starting to appear, though they're not going to fire for another 40 years, so I'm not too concerned about that. My prestige is going up pretty quickly, my corruption is going down. Right, the other big thing that we did is we decreased the number of greater nobles. See, the influence has plummeted from 79% to 55% because we have just demoted a bunch of great nobles and turned them back into lesser nobles. The influence of the lesser nobles has increased, but the lesser nobles have an awful lot less privileges. They in fact only have 2, compared to the greater nobles, who have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 privileges. So we've got a lot more power in the state. An awful lot more power in the state, which is good. We've been trying to improve our relations with the Burghers. The lesser nobles detest us right now, because we've basically gone against tradition with the demotion. And that kind of makes them think, oh, maybe we can't ever become a greater noble, which is true. We could also revoke some privileges peacefully. If we were going to do that from anyone, it would be from the Greaters, because they're actually surprisingly loyal. The greater nobles have 9 privileges. Well, there you go. Miscounted. So are there any favours that I could offer you? Loyalty with the estate cannot be lower than 11. So I guess I have to bestow a privilege upon you. Yeah, we're not doing that. Get uppity if you like. I'll squish you. Although, that's sad. How strong an army do you have? Seven infantry, 3 cavalry and 1 artillery. My standing army is bigger than theirs. Oh, and the lessers have 5 privileges. It actually says right there. Right, because there are different tiers of privilege, so you can have like low taxes, medium taxes, high taxes. So yes, they have 9. Okay. But still, the Greaters were too powerful and I needed to bring them down. And I have successfully done so, although they still have a huge army. Although that army is probably going to reduce in size. Right, the other thing that we got from our humiliation of Castile is a bunch of power projection, because it was a humiliation war. And we won it, and we successfully humiliated them. Hey, Raptor. But now I don't really know what my next objective is. We do want to bring Flanders down to size. Unfortunately, Flanders is allied to the Pope. So if there was any way that we could angle to go after Flanders and not have the Pope join, that would be nice. But otherwise I think we are pretty much just sitting back and letting things recover a little bit and see what opportunities we can come up with. Another fight that we will need to persecute at some point would be against Naples, but they're allied to Venice, and that worries me a little bit because Venice are ridiculously wealthy. The Ottomans are growing. They still have a lot of Turkey to take over. Technology. We could get Diplotech. Any reason not to? No, and we want to take this so we can balance our technologies out. So we'll go ahead and do that. And get another promoted culture. Interesting. That seems to be a lot more promoted cultures than vanilla allows. And we can get another economic idea, which would be a further 10% taxes. I think for that we do want to wait until we tech up, because we are a little bit behind the times with admin. Actually, technically with military as well, but considering I know that England and Castile are even further behind than we are, because we're 12.5. They've just hit 12. England a little while ago, Castile very recently. But otherwise, not a huge amount seems to be happening. Muscovy's expanded a little bit. Novgorod are losing a war to Denmark. Oh. Does Denmark have a union over the other two? No, just Sweden. So Norway is still independent. That's all colonizable. I think those actually get colonized by event. Teutonic Order's looking pretty strong. Lithuania's taken an absolute bludgeoning. Poland's taken a bit of a beating. Mamelukes are still holding strong. Tunis, Tlemcen, Fez. I was going to say I thought Tlemcen lost a bunch of land to Aragon, but no, it's actually the other way around. Aragon lost a war against them. Venice gets their free money again. So many things I could do with 400 like a year. That's crazy. And it gets less and less impressive as the game goes on. But still, considering how much or how many buildings and things you could build in the early game with that much money to really give you a long-term boost to your economy is kind of crazy. Castile's fighting against Morocco and losing, so they might be about to lose Cadiz and maybe some of their southern territories. Castile's not having a great time. Castile lost early on against Trastamara, and I don't think ever really recovered. That's not what I meant. I meant this one. States of the realm. Because I wish to see how their loyalty is changing over time. Lesser nobles' loyalty is currently going up. Although, according to this, their loyalty's been going up significantly over time. I'm not sure that's entirely true. Last year they made a bunch of money from annual income. Yeah, as their income goes up because of the number of people they have, their loyalty should also go up. Greater nobles will be losing loyalty, I'm fairly sure. Although that is showing off the last year's influence levels, so maybe not. Urban industry arises. A budding urban industry has arisen in Picardy. Soon the artisans of the city will begin to master and specialise in the production of a specific type of urban good, linen, metalworks or cloth. If the province acquires a centre of production, the artisans will further hone their expertise, and once skilled enough will eventually be allowed to choose a luxury good. Linen can upgrade to leather, paper in the Middle East and Northern Africa, carpets. Metalwork can upgrade to jewellery, steel or in East China, Chinaware. Cloth can upgrade to luxury cloth or silk. If the province has at least 2 harbour infrastructure, it can upgrade to naval supplies with either linen, metalworks or cloth. Well, Picardy is on my northern coast. It is going to have a harbour, which would actually have to be one of those levels. And it does have a level 1 commune already. And a workshop. So yeah, that's actually surprising that it has leveled up. $28,000 urban population. So, you produce dye at the moment, so I think it would really be, it would make sense to be cloth. No, sorry, cloth, not linen. Lose 25 ducats, province gains 25 urban wealth. Sure, let's do that. Now produces cloth. Cool. So we really need to see that happening to Pays de Nuit. But for that I think we need to upgrade the town hall, which we cannot afford to do yet. I'm just comparing the differences here. Trade power plus 2.5, trade power plus 20. So yeah, we definitely want to get a trade port in Pays de Nuit, and we'll also want to have a military port here in Brest, because of the Rad de Brest, which gives a big bonus to ship repair, shipbuilding time, naval force limits, local sailors. Really, really good naval base. It's my suggestion in the Paradox forums that made luxury goods have their purple background. Huh. So luxuries are purple. Urbans are blue. Paris is only an urban. So Lyonnais is actually the best production site that we have. I thought Artois is also. We really do need to take over Artois because they have leather production here. How's the centralization going? 31. So we only need another 9 points of centralization, then we can finally begin to annex Artois. See you, mystery. Getting that construction cost reduction would be nice. Getting the production rights would also be really nice. Looking forward to getting that. Oh, Bologna has died. Probably due to constantly being excommunicated by the Pope. How's the Pope doing? 155? He's cool. And we are still the papal controller with 66%, so we're fairly likely to be elected again. But we're down to just 2 cardinals, which is a little bit concerning, because actually Naples is more than us. And we lost the election to the Pope. To the Pope! Arrgh! Fine. Well, I'm immediately going to spend some, so we have a 100% chance. Just in case he were to die again, rapidly, in much death. Military access from Dortmund. Nah. You shouldn't need it. Drill levels are going up pretty quickly. Professionalism isn't. Appointing new cardinals. I think that you should have more of the Francian cardinals, to be quite honest with you. There we go, we're back up to 4. A case comes before the papal court. For both moral and physical reasons, the church forbade marriage to those within 7 degrees of separation from each other, as distant as third cousins. I really don't care, so go for it. Right, so we are still coring a province. We have nothing to convert. This is increasing autonomy in places when actually we want it going down, which it seems to be. It seems to be trending down generally. And this just lets you see population overview. It doesn't actually let you do anything. Fair enough. Case comes before papal court. Are either of you going to be bribing me? No. Then we will do a compromise. Papal consistory meets. Only the most select. There's already a whole bunch of cardinals. We don't really need more. Alright, 66% chance of election. We'll roll with that. Seems reasonable. Actually, I wonder how Bohemia's doing. Still alive. Still looking pretty healthy. Are they actually fighting anyone? Nope. Doesn't look like Austria has put their foot down particularly hard yet. Bohemia is still an elector. That's interesting. And notably not electing Austria. Another appointment. We just had a bunch. Right, we can get a military advisor. We probably should. Ooh, discipline. Yeah, we'll just go for the level 1. So we want to try and keep those ideas and technologies flowing if possible. I feel like we're very, very slowly overcoming the deficit that we had. Another exceptionally cold year. Oh goody. What exactly does that do again? Massively increases unrest, reduces production efficiency, increases rural goods produced, and decreases supply limit mod. Plus... oh no, that's just the winter modifier. Exceptionally cold year modifier. Yeah, there's that too, which it doesn't tell you about, which reduces the supply limit even further, and also gives you the plus 10 attrition. Military access from Verona. Again, why? Why do you need this? So, what was required to start exploring? Naval ideas, right? Naval and then exploration. Part of the reason technologies are so expensive because we still haven't embraced the institution, and also corruption is a huge issue. Although corruption is currently falling rapidly. Again, because we've hugely reduced the amount of greater noble issues that we have. So that helps. Your influence is up to 21%, but your loyalty is climbing. Could revoke from you. How many do you actually have? 8. Crack down on smuggling. Doesn't really do much. Cease issuing honorary noble titles. Revoke rights of commerce. Right, it doesn't actually tell you on that list what they do. It tells you here. So rights of smuggling reduces the... no, increases trade income and global trade power, but reduces the amount of tax that they get from trade. So I guess that just reduces the amount of money that they pay me. Honorary token nobles means that I tax them more for taxes but get less from trade. You also need Diplotech 20 before we can get exploration. Okay, we're a ways away from that. Right of commerce. Provincial income taxed by the estate. Autonomy, that's the one that we want to get rid of. Diminished embargoes. We don't embargo anyone, so I really don't care about that. Considering the amount of power the Burkers really wield, I'm not too concerned. I'd like to get rid of the lesser or greater nobles' autonomy gain. Because they have a lot of autonomy. I could do this, but they are already super pissed off with me. So that would just be asking for trouble. Although again, I can beat their army. And this would be before they can consolidate. I'm going to do it. Before their income can climb to its like maximum, so it doesn't look like they're going to gain some, but I'm kind of reducing the cap of what they can gain before they've actually reached the cap. So the loyalty impact should actually be less. Grudgingly accept 50% of -1, 25 of -2. Nothing again. That's twice we've got really. Oh no, we got 1. Oh, that's fine. I can live with a -1. So we're going to see quite a dramatic increase in autonomy throughout our realm. Sorry, decrease in autonomy. Decrease. Autonomy is bad. It's good for them, bad for us. And they didn't lose any loyalty. But if we now go to the interactions, assets, trade, estate power. No, this was the wrong button. It should be the state one. Estates of Rome. Come on. Loyalty shifts. Lesser nobles 7. Oh no, it does show you in the previous one. Yeah, annual income has changed. Their standing army is growing, which means that their army is shrinking. It hasn't much yet. Probably because they still have such a huge treasury. Like, if I had that money, I would be doing way more with it than they are. Greater nobles demand privileges. I can say no. They are... What are they trying to do? They want to give me less manpower, which will increase yearly corruption quite significantly. Or I can say no, which will cause me to spend stuff. Roughly 45% of the provinces controlled by the greater nobles will gain plus 20 unrest for 10 years. Will cost them 2 years of their income. And they'll lose 14 loyalty and I lose 10 legitimacy. You know what? Right now I can deal with this. So we're going to say no. We're at peace. We don't really have that many outside threats at the moment. Okay, so we're going to have 1 or 2 uprisings probably in the next 10 years or so. And now they are seriously pissed with me as well. No, not going to pay him anything. Does it say anywhere, like, how much they pay me? Or is it just anything that's left over in the provinces that they own? It must be. Like, this is a Greater Nobles province, and I'm getting 28 ducats. Oh, right, and the unrest is going to be reducing the amount I make from these provinces too. Thankfully my economy was pretty well positively balanced, so it's not going to affect me hugely. Still annoying though. But I'm still able to maintain my drilling army, which is what I wanted. You mean this thing? Case comes before papal court. Are either of you bribing me? No. Then compromise. Give me a detailed breakdown of taxes. Base tax for all estates is 15% on tax income, 20% on trade, and 15% of the manpower levy. Base taxes are further multiplied by privileges the estate may have. So they have a higher tax rate at higher loyalty levels. So currently they're not paying anything extra. Well, not a lot of extra. If an estate has less than 50% loyalty and a state bureaucracy that is at least twice as powerful as the estate can force them to pay a portion of the tax rate that's been withheld. So they are currently paying less taxes than they ought to be. Yeah, see, the lesser nobles are paying a mere 1% of their tax rate right now. But what does that mean? Give me a per month breakdown. How much of their taxes does this equal? Oh, there it is. Estate income tax. So that's going to be burghers, greater nobles, lesser nobles, state? See, that doesn't mean much to me. Four estates. They are the most loyal. I'm technically well, I'm not the smallest, but I have the least tax income, I guess, which is why I only get 0.2. I can't believe that the greater nobles are paying less income tax than the lessers, though, considering their influence and they're more loyal. So yeah, that number doesn't really mean much to me. Temperatures return to normal. At last, the people's prayers appear to have been finally answered as temperatures return to normal. Break out the ale! Huzzah! Our centralization coming along. Good. As corruption goes down, centralization efforts will increase.